Hi, and welcome to The Gist. Thanks so much for listening today. While almost all animals have unique ways of communicating, the development of complex language-based communication sets humans apart. It allows us to express ourselves through speech and the written word. With inventions ranging from paper to computers and smartphones, the capacity and reach of human communication continues to grow. And yet, it is as fraught with potential for misunderstanding and harm as it is for positivity and change. Most of us take this incredible human ability for granted. Children are naturally wired to pick up multiple languages almost effortlessly. And as adults, we often don't spend enough time thinking about the importance of language. But who would we be as a species and as individuals without words? A recent Nautilus article explored what happens when we cannot access our language skills. It turns out that as children, while our brain is still developing, removing language can dramatically affect its growth as a whole. But as adults, if we lose our ability to communicate due to, say, illness, trauma, or aging, the rest of our cognitive functions remain remarkably intact because of the foundation of language. Anna Ivanova, a researcher at MIT, says that our language is but a scaffold for our minds, indispensable during construction, but not necessary for the building to remain in place. While this is reassuring, language still affects our capacity to interact with the world and can have a lasting impact on those around us. So it might serve us well to look more closely at how we use this precious resource. We can learn a lot about ourselves if we observe the words we use. Too often, we're not intentional enough and just let them spill out. So much unnecessary confusion or pain can come from ill-considered words. Pausing and bringing awareness to what we say allows us to articulate ourselves clearly, thoughtfully, and assertively. In so doing, we have the potential to transform our relationships for the better. This is particularly true with our children, because our speech becomes their template for speaking with others. But language is not just an external phenomenon. Most of us have a near constant running conversation in our own heads. In fact, it seems almost impossible to think without words. As with outer communication, this inner dialogue has the power to be constructive or destructive. Words matter, and how we talk to ourselves can profoundly shape our personalities and our degree of contentment. A harsh inner voice can lead to feelings of low self-esteem, depression, or anger. Conversely, a gentler, nurturing, and grateful inner conversation style can be a form of self-soothing and personal encouragement. It's also helpful to work on quietening this inner dialogue altogether and to give our brains a rest from language. We can try instead to just witness and absorb the world in silence, minimizing the urge to speak or always label what we see with words. We can also prioritize the words we consume through various other means like television, videos, podcasts, even books, articles, emails, and texts, and especially marketing messages. We can't bury our heads in the sand to avoid all negative messaging or hide from the difficult realities of the world, but we can be selective about the words we expose ourselves to. Given the power of language to shape our minds and our relationships, being deliberate about how we speak, how we listen, and what we consume becomes foundational to our overall well-being. perhaps we can all bring a little more thoughtful attention to language and make better choices about how we use and consume it. On that note, wishing you a great week ahead, be well, and see you next time on The Gist.